right, Joe, take it away.
You ready? All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morgantown and Mon County Ballpark for the NCAA Morgantown Regional. We'll start this off with the #1 seed and the regional host, the West Virginia Mountaineers. WVU comes in with a 37-20 record, an at-large bid out of the Big 12 Conference. To the far side, we have Coach Randy Mazey, followed by outfielder Darius Hill, pitcher Alec Manoa, and catcher Ivan Gonzalez. And Coach, we'll start off with you. Quick opening statement. There's been a lot of excitement around town last few days about hosting this regional. Just tell us about your excitement for this weekend.
Isn't my excitement evident? Obvious. No, we're super excited as a team, as a university, as a community, as a state. This doesn't happen every day in Morgantown, so the excitement that's been building in this program for the last 5 or 6 years is starting to come to a head. I'm super excited to see the crowd we're going to have tomorrow night supporting these guys. I know what they're capable of. I've been saying it for years that this day was coming in our program. I don't know if anybody outside of myself, my coaching staff, and the players believed it, but it's here. So we still have a long ways to go. This isn't the end of the road for us. This is just a step along the road, but we're super excited to be hosting a regional and having teams from the SEC and the ACC come in here that our people have been used to seeing Big 12 caliber baseball. So it's nice to give our community a taste of what NCAA postseason baseball is all about.
We'll open it up for questions for our 3 student athletes.
Just for anybody, what do you guys know about this Fordham team?
They look like a team that can really pitch. We've seen a few arms from them. They look like they all can attack hitters and get anyone out at any time. As an offense, we know they can steal a lot of bases, which causes problems for just your defense and your pitching philosophy, so we're going to have to bring in order to beat them.
Ivan, sort of the same thing. They're the #1 base stealing team in college baseball. So what kind of pressure does that put on you? How, you guys got to change your approach, or how do you handle this?
No, we're not changing any approach, but definitely, just like Darius just said, it puts a little pressure on the defense just because they steal, they get out of formation and stuff. But we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, make sure the pitchers just kind of give me the ball in time, and I just got to put it on down.
For Darius and Ivan, have you guys shared with the guys that weren't here a couple years ago what to expect? Is there any differences in the way you approach regional play, and about maybe getting the excitement on a manageable level? What's been your all's messages?
I think the message is just another game. I mean, obviously there's going to be large crowds and quality opposition in the other dugout, but at the same time, we just need to do what got us here. I mean, we've been playing well offensively, defensively, and on the mound, so if we can maintain what we've been doing, I think we'll have a chance against anyone.
Yeah, it's just playing Mountaineer baseball just like we've been doing all year. Just keeping up composure and when the time calls, make big plays, make big pitches, and just keep playing ball.
Alec, what's your preparation been like this week? Kind of knowing you're going to pitch, but not really knowing who you're going to pitch against.
Yeah, I mean, I'll wake up Saturday morning and I know who my opposition is, and I start studying for them. But I've already done some studying on both those teams that I'm going to have to prepare, and fight other guys that are in their league that I know from Summer Ball and stuff. But yeah, it's actually pretty nice. I think I threw Thursday last week, going to Saturday this week, so the arm's going to be nice and well rested. And yeah, once I get some more information on who I'm playing, just really excited to go out there.
What's your study routine like, especially in a situation like this? Do you kind of do it individually and then talk with Coach Mazey and the other coaches about what you're doing with each, against each hitter? How do you approach getting ready?
They study most of the hitters. They have to know where to position the defense, and obviously Mazey calls the pitches, so he does a lot of the studying. I just like to take a look at the hitters, kind of put a name to the face, kind of get an idea of what I want to do to them before I get out there. So it's not going too much in depth with the studying. I don't like to overthink things or anything like that. Just put a name to the face and kind of get an idea of how I'm going to pitch to them before I get out there.
Alec, you say Mazey calls most of the pitches. How you handle it when you kind of disagree or want to play something else?
Just shake my head like this.
And he just listens to hear it?
No, he tells us all the time in the fall and things like that, yeah, it's just a suggestion, you know, so, I do a lot of homework on my own, and, I'm technically the person who's out there throwing the ball, and I know what I want to throw, so a lot of times we're on the same page, and we talk about, we kind of pitch the same way, so, yeah, whenever I shake him, he knows exactly what I want next, so it's never a hassle.
Any other questions for Darius, Alec, or Ivan?
For all three of you, because you did play in the NCAA tournament 2 years ago, so is there a pressure that you don't feel in a regular season game? Do these things feel differently for you? You all were there.
I would say there's not really a pressure. I would say 2 years ago we kind of came into it like, all right, it's our first regional in 20 years. You know, we're just happy to be here. But now we know the kind of team we have. Our demeanor is to come out and win this thing, you know, so there's not any extra pressure. You know, we're the #1 seed for a reason. And yeah, we love playing with each other, and you know, we go out there and take care of business, you know, we'll be moving on.
Coach, who's been the most surprising or funny message that you've received since hosting this regional message of congratulations for you guys?
Good question. There's been so many, you know, it seems like you spend every day responding to text messages and emails, but the funny thing is that, you know, even in the Big 12 tournament, you know, you win a big game against Texas Tech or somebody, and it seems like you have 50 texts, and the next day they beat you 10-3, and you can't find a text message. It's like nobody wants to talk to you when you don't win, but it's been super exciting, super positive. All the former players that have reached out and are super proud of what these guys are accomplishing and are happy where the program is at right now and what these guys have turned it into. You know, it's been we've been in the Big 12 for 7 years now, and we knew this day was coming, and you know, these guys made a leap of faith. You know, when we recruited these guys, we weren't talking about all the regionals and super regionals and stadium. These guys made a leap of faith to come to West Virginia. I mean, you're looking at 2 kids from Texas and 1 from Miami sitting at this table coming to Morgantown, West Virginia to try and do something that's never ever been done before in the history of the school, to advance past a regional and potentially play in the College World Series. So they came here for one reason, to have an opportunity to put West Virginia baseball on the national stage. And like I said, how many times in life do you have an opportunity to do something that's never been done before? And that's what these guys did, and took a leap of faith, believed in the coaches that were recruiting them and talking to them, and came here and did exactly that, put West Virginia baseball on the national stage.
For the players, have any of you sort of found maybe you have new friends or relatives this week with the ticket demands?
I've been dealing with that all year.
Do all three of you have family coming in for this?
Yes, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, very good.
Any other questions for the players? Okay, guys, thank you very much. Coach, if you could stick around for us for a few minutes. Questions for Coach Mazey?
Coach, what do you know about this Fordham team? I know they're the low seed here, but they won their tournament last week, and they're the only team that won their last game before this week.
You know, this is as a coach, a team like this worries you to death. You know, they're leading the nation in stolen bases. And they have the conference pitcher of the year pitching against us, and this is a super high quality team, super well coached, and give you a different look than you've gotten the whole season. You know, we run a lot as a team. We've stolen, I think, 92 or 93 bases. We led the Big 12 in that category, and these guys have stolen almost double what we have. So, but I've got all the faith in the world in Pudge back there that if we give him a chance to throw somebody out, he's one of the best catchers in all of college baseball. And we take a lot of pride in controlling the running game. So, I'm anxious for the challenge, to play against a team that runs so much. It's not much different than in March Madness when you draw a team that shoots a ton of threes and you're not used to it. You gotta account for it for sure, but you don't change your identity. Our identity is our identity. We're going to play the way we play and just do a good job of controlling the running game, and hopefully, get a couple of mistakes out of this guy who doesn't make many.
Other than stats, do you have a network of people you could call and say, hey, look at these guys? You know what I mean? Is there anything you can go on besides what you see from the stat sheet?
Yeah, did somebody bring their phone in here?
I'm going to forget the question.
Excuse me, it's my wife. She can wait. Off the record. No, these days with technology, we can literally watch just about every game they've played on video, and we get a lot of our scouting stuff for that. It's amazing the work that my assistant coaches put into watching video. Like AK said, I'm the guy calling the pitches, so I watch a lot of video too. And so you get a much better idea these days than in the old days when you had to call around and talk to the people who played against these guys. But I think we've got a really good feel for who they are, and that's why it worries you a little bit, because watching them on video, you know how good they are.
And what goes into deciding how you're going to set up your pitching rotation? And you talked about these are quality teams. Anybody's capable of beating you. Is that a kind of an agonizing forward thing?
We kind of we felt like this day was coming, that we were going to play in a regional for the last 2 or 3 weeks. How we were playing down the stretch, and Nick Snyder's been so good in the midweek games for us, and his turn in the conference tournament fell on Wednesday. He threw the first game down there, so we rolled him out there in the Big 12 championship game on limited pitch count. So we prepared him to pitch this game for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I've got all the faith in the world in Nick Snyder. I wouldn't be sitting at this table if it wasn't for Nick Snyder. So he's going to get the ball, and I feel really good about him going out there.
Is that different if you're like in other years when you were a 2 seed or maybe a 3 seed or whatever? Is it different depending on where you are coming in?
Yeah, the thing you got to be careful of is you don't want to go through a tournament like this and not use your best guys. A lot of people get caught up trying to save a guy for a particular team or a particular game, and all of a sudden the tournament's over and you didn't even use them. So to win a regional, you got to win one game at a time, man. So we're gonna throw our best bullets at them in game 1, and whatever happens, we'll see what game 2 brings.
I assume Alec is 2. Is Kate going to be 3?
We don't know that yet. Again, we don't want to save somebody for a game that might not exist. So we're going to try and win them one game at a time. If we have to bring Kate in to win game 1 in relief, we'll do it, and he knows that.
How important was it for Nick to kind of get back on track in that game Sunday after not his best outing to open the tournament?
Super important. I think that was part of the reason why we started him in the championship game, because he had been so good all year, and you kind of felt like he hit a speed bump against Kansas down there in the conference tournament. So to get him back out there, a small mechanical adjustment that he made to get back on track, it was super important for him to throw really good against Oklahoma State, which he really did. I think he struck out 7 in 3 innings against one of the best offensive teams in the country. So that was good for his confidence and mine.
How did he respond, Randy, from Wednesday and then again on Sunday? I mean, obviously a great Sunday.
Yeah, he's awesome. His preparation, his routine, he's a guy that can do that. He's gonna his days come in professional baseball where you have to pitch more than once a week. You don't get 7 days rest normally in professional baseball, and he is more apt to handle that than most people, because his arm recovers really, really well, and that's a credit to his preparation and what he does post-game and his mental preparation. He's a guy that's super capable of doing that.
What do you think has been the biggest factor in him making the jump that he has from last year to this season?
Just letting him be Nick Snyder, It's when I played college baseball, I played for a guy named Bill Wilhelm at Clemson and coached for Coach Wilhelm. He was my mentor in this business. And his philosophy was to recruit great athletes, teach them how to play the game, but don't overcoach them and stifle their athleticism. And so I make sure that none of myself or none of my guys or the little guy standing on the shoulder of every player talking to him between every pitch and every at-bat. So we just let Nick be Nick, man. Just go do what you do, and made some suggestions here and there with him, but just don't overcoach him. He's a special talent. He's got a great arm. He's got a great routine, and he just has to be Nick, and that's what we allowed him to do.
Have time for a couple more questions for Coach.
You mentioned earlier this week how comforting Ivan was as a catcher. Speak to that a little bit. What is it about him that makes you so comfortable with him behind the plate and how he handles pitchers and what he does?
Yeah, our catching philosophy at West Virginia is it's your job to make sure the pitcher throws good that day, and that's what he does. When we recruited Pudge, you see the same pitcher throw to two different catchers, and the day he throws the best is usually because of the catcher. And he was a special catcher from the day we saw him and the day we recruited him, and just a special personality, great energy. The kids love him. He's everybody's best friend. And hey, oh, by the way, he throws out almost every guy that tries to steal. So he's just been rock solid for us back there. It's not easy to do what he did. He caught every game in the conference tournament, caught 2 games in one day, and that wears on you over time. So you got to try and manage his rest as much as you can. And sometimes you'll see Pudge, if he hits a fly ball to center field, he's not running 100% from home to first like Brandon White or somebody would, but Pudge has earned that right over his career. He's got a lot of stock in the company, so to speak, because he's earned the right to rest when he needs to rest.
The fact that he swings the bat so well, was that a bonus?
Oh, absolutely. His value from day one was defensively for us, and for him to be as good an offensive player as he is just makes him that much more special of a player.
You talked about, I think, going into the Big 12, how West Virginia has kind of an underdog mentality, especially going against Texas schools. Do you have to maintain that mentality even as a host going into this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's when Texas A&M or Duke or whoever draws West Virginia in their regional and has to come to Morgantown, don't think they're not happy about it, because they could get sent to somewhere who has 4 or 5 trips to the College World Series, that has hosted regionals before, so they're all excited to be here. And I mean, that's what we fight, in all sports here at West Virginia, I think. When Neil Brown did his press conference, and somebody said that West Virginia is the 14th